Hi again. So now in this lecture, I'm going to teach you how to find the firmware of any BIOS you want. Okay? So, of course, if you want to flash a failed BIOS, you will need a firmware or a bin file. So, how can you find it and where you find it? I will show you how. So I will show you how you can find the software just in Google, in the internet, and I will show you also if you have an executive file of the software, how to convert it to the bin extension using the cmd command or DOS command. So I show you how. So here, as you can see, you can just go to Google. So for example, let's assume, for example, that we have, okay, this kind, for example, of the laptop. For example, deal, okay, latitude, okay, 5410, for example. For example, let's assume that we have this kind of laptop that contain a failed BIOS. We should reprogram its BIOS. So let's just type in Google the model of the laptop and bin file, for example. Okay, bin file and press enter. So as you can see here, you will find many results. As you can see, for example, for this result, deal A5410 BIOS bin free download, for example. So you can check these results in Google, and of course you will find the bin file. Of course you will find a free firmware, and sometimes if the firmware is not exist, okay, you should buy it. Sometimes for some laptops, some new laptops, okay, with a very good performance, you cannot find its firmware. You should buy it in the internet, okay. But the majority of firmwares, you can just download it for free, okay. So now I will show you the trick that I prefer to get the bin file or the firmware. So I can just type here deal, for example, let's type, for example, deal latitude, okay, 5410 drivers, okay, and press enter, as you can see. So let's select the first result. Here we have the deal website. So let's get in the official website of Dell Latitude. Okay, so we can just, here as you see, we have driver downloads. Here we have check for updates. So for us, we will select, as you can see here, find drivers. So let's click find drivers. So here we go. We have manually find a specific driver for your latitude 5410. This is just an example. So here you can type here a keyword. For us, no problem. Here you should select your operating system. For example, let's assume that we have, for example, Windows 10 64, the same Windows that I have. So here the category, so we look for the BIOS. Okay, let's select the BIOS. Here, of course, you can select the type of the file you want. Okay, here we have the zip file. Here we have application, CPG BIOS executable, okay, for Windows and DOS. So here we have the firmware image. So let's select firmware image. This is good firmware, but no results. So for some laptops, you will find the firmware images. If you find the firmware images, it's good. You can program or flash the BIOS directly using these firmware images. But if you don't find it, you can just select all, as you can see, and here we have a BIOS, as you can see. We can just download it, but this type of this BIOS is executive BIOS. So let's see the type of this BIOS. We can just expand it from here. So as you can see, it's version here, the file name, as you can see, exe means executive BIOS. But for us, we need the bin file. But I will show you how to convert this kind of file, executive file, to binary file. So let's download this file. Let's click download. So here, as you can see, the download is started. So as you can see, this is the file that I download from the Dell website. So let's extend here, as you can see. So this is application. So let's check the proprietary. As you see, here we have exe, means executive file. But for us, we don't want the executive file. We need binary file. So let's create a new folder. Okay. And for example, name it exe2bin file. Okay. So, and let's move this file to this folder. As you can see, now here I have the file here in this folder. Okay. Now let's click Windows plus R later in the keyboard. As you can see here, we have the run window. Let's type cmd and press enter. As you can see, so now we have the Windows, the cmd Windows. So here, let's write cd and then space. Let's go and copy the path where we have the file, the executive file. So this is the path. So copy. Okay. And then go to DOS window and paste and then press enter. Okay. And then let's type rename star point star space star point bin, means binary. Okay. And then press enter. Okay. Then let's type exit and press enter. Here we go. We have the bin file, as you can see. Okay. This is the same path, as you can see. And we have the file is converted to bin file. As you can see, we have bin file. So let's extend here, as you can see, point bin. Okay. So let's check the properties, as you can see. So here, as you can see, we have bin. So using this command, we convert the executive file to the bin file. Okay. So we can, if you want, open this bin file using the edit with Notepad++. Let's see. Let's check. As you can see, it's locked like this. Of course, this is unreadable. You cannot read it, but the programmer can do. Okay. So if we launch the software, as you can see, this is the software. We can open, go to File, tab, and then open. So we can go and open that file, the bin file. So here, as you can see, we have, this is the folder exe2bin. So let's check. So we have the bin file. Let's select this bin file and press open. And then, okay, as you see. So right now we open the bin file, as you see. Now this is the bin file, as you can see. Okay, all this and the firmware. Now we can program the BIOS, a specific BIOS using this firmware. You can just go to program, and of course, as you see here, we have use adapter. It asks us to use the adapter, this kind of adapter, and we can just click program. But here, as you see, the device unavailable or error, because I didn't connect the programmer, because I have a failed programmer. I still wait for the programmer. Okay. So, but this is easy. This is the way that you can use to reprogram or flash the BIOS. So to summarize, To find the bin file, you can just go to Google and type the model of your laptop or your computer or even your television or any device you want. For example, the model, then bin file. If you find the bin file, it's good. If you don't find it, you can just write the model of your laptop and then drivers. And you can go to the official website of your laptop and download the executive file, okay? And you can convert the executive file to the bin file using the commands that I teach you, okay? Of course, I will add a file, a Word file with the course that contain this command, okay? Those commands that you can use to convert exe file to bin file, okay?